Alison Waters. She is number 5 seed. She's number 5 in the world, has been as high as number 3. Overcame Noor El Shabini in the previous match. She's works under the guidance of Paul Carter in England, and she'll be looking to go back up the rankings towards that number 2, towards her highest ever ranking. And her form is pretty good. She got to the semi-finals of the Worlds, and she's looking to really push herself up into the top 3 with performances that she's had here in this event. So she has spent a mammoth 179 minutes on the court, getting into this final, and of course had to overcome facing 3 match balls against Noor El Shabini in the semi-final match, where she won 3-2, and it really was an epic encounter, wasn't it, Vanessa?
Absolutely, a great performance from Alison Waters, and she must have been pinching herself last night. What a week she's had, taking out Nicole David against the odds of a 23-1 head-to-head, now 23-2 incidentally, and then backing that up with that huge win yesterday in her semi-final. And as you saw on that ranking progression, she's been there and about for the past 5 or 6 years, but some injury problems have prevented her from making a real bid for that top spot, and this does feel like a real breakthrough for the Englishwoman.
Well, it certainly could be, and she's going to have to produce her best squash against the talented lady in your picture, currently the number 3 seed at this event, but she is up at number 2 in the world now. Did get to the final of the World Championships back in December, where she narrowly missed out against Nicole David, having match balls in that match in the 4th game. So she's a very dangerous campaigner, and she'll be looking to start establishing and winning some titles at this World Series level. Since 2012, El Welily has burst into the top 5, cementing herself at number 2, only slipping down to number 3 in 2014, and she's starting 2015 up at number 2, but she won't be happy with that. She's going to look to push on and get that number 1 spot. Well, there we see a famous poker player, Gus Hansen of Denmark. Very keen squash player.
To the women's final. of the 2015 JP Morgan Tournament of Champions. This match is between Alison Waters of England, who will be serving. Raneem El Welily of Egypt will be receiving. Best of 5 games, love all.
So it's Alison Waters versus Raneem El Welily in game 1. Well, first blood goes to Alison Waters in this final.
And interesting, just looking at their run through to the final, quite a big difference in the amount of time they've spent on court. With obviously Alison Waters, after that epic match last night, she spent significantly longer on there than Raneem El Welily, and it'll be interesting to see if that is part of the Egyptian game plan. It's not a natural game, is it, to keep a player on there?
No, she doesn't like to drag it out. I mean, she's such a good technician, wonderful stroke maker, loves to attack, and I think that's why this is going to be a great contrast between the two.
Absolutely. Alison Waters, as she's done very well in all her matches, she'll really be looking to get that ball deep into those back corners and really try to contain Raneem El Welily and stop her from being able to attack as she loves to do.
Well, the ball squirting back to Alison Waters in the middle of the court.
Stroke El Welily.
Means that the Egyptian player is awarded the point.
Yeah. 3-2.
Well, it's a tentative start from both players. When the tight shot comes in, they're not able to deal with it at the moment, and there's bound to be a few nerves on the court. So, I mean, Vanessa, you've been in some big finals, being a former world #1, former world champion. How did you cope with the big occasion?
Well, you do always get nervous, especially in big finals, no matter how experienced you are.
4-3.
And I think one thing that you try to do is just extend those first few rallies. Just loosen your arm, just, you know, get hitting the ball a few times and not let too many points disappear quickly, just to give yourself a chance to settle into the match and to find a little bit of rhythm. And that can be quite difficult to do against players like Raneem El Welily, who try to keep the points nice and quick, take that ball into the front of the court very quickly and give very little rhythm away to their opponents.
And out, 4-all.
Well, both players are trading points at 4-all in the first. I'm sure all the viewers back home want to know who you think's going to win, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I'm staying well away from any predictions.
5-4.
Get off that fence.
Well, I've bet against Alison Waters to my own detriment so far, so maybe I should go with that. But she's going to have to be extremely consistent with her hitting in this match to be able to get past this talented Egyptian. She's going to have to consistently hit good lines on the court, find really good width, and she's going to have to do it for long periods of time. So, you know, if she is a little bit tired from those matches, it's going to be interesting whether she's able to do that physically.
And out, 6-5.
Well, that's a thumping drive from Alison Waters, stunning it down into the nick. She draws level again. 6-all in the first. Well, normally we'd expect El Welily to make a shot like that.
7-6.
Alison Waters won't be complaining though, and she ekes out a lead. I reckon that's too good, Vanessa.
Yeah, that was really running away there.
Oh, we're going to see a review. It's got to be worth a review, isn't it?
Well, that would have been a very difficult ball to get back without any interference at all.
I'd go no let there, but it's the referee's decision that counts. Well, another confident put away from Waters. Take that. That's where El Welily reminds me of the maestro, Arma Shabana, in the sort of racket work that she possesses.
Well, you just have to be constantly on guard, don't you? With other players, you can maybe afford to put in a slightly weaker serve like that, but with people like Arma Shabana and Raneem El Welily, you have to be constantly on edge not to give away an opportunity like that, because they will take it.
Waters. Yes, let. 7-8.
That's a nice attacking shot from El Welily. Really can't afford to give her that much time and space around the middle of the court.
Yeah, she'll put those away all day. So good rally there from Raneem El Welily.
Well, one too many in the end for Waters. That rally will hurt because El Welily had her on a piece of string.
9-8.
Yeah, after a slightly nervy start, the quality's really gone up here.
There you go. Every time there has been a loose ball around the middle, Waters puts it away
9-0.
very comfortably, almost matching El Welily's shot-making ability.
Yeah, she's obviously known for that ability to put the ball away on the forehand, but equally capable on that backhand side, as you saw there.
Decision El Welily. Yes, let. 9-0.
Alison Waters a little bit lucky there, wasn't she? She had an opportunity towards the end of that rally to put the ball away and played it right back to the feet of her opponent.
Yeah, she hit the ball down the middle where Raneem El Welily was waiting. Well, no let given, because
Video
we're going to get a review. I'm not
for
sure
El
it's going to be
Welily,
worth it,
no let
because
decision.
what's happened is El Welili's gone up and round and tried to get round, almost accepting there's interference, and made it almost impossible to get this ball. She's almost been undone by the fact she's tried to go around the opponent to get to the ball.
She's committed to a certain line, hasn't she? And then the ball's run a little bit longer.
Well, there's confirmation, no let given.
Decision upheld, no let. El Welily has no reviews remaining. 10-9.
That means that Raneem El Welily does not have any more reviews remaining, and Alison Waters has a game ball. Well, Welily not getting the ball. It means Alison Waters closes out the first game in this final.
Waters leads, 1 game to love.
So first blood for Alison Waters in this final, taking the first game 11-9, and she leads 1 game to love. Really intense first game, 11 minutes in duration, and both players trading points around the middle. Whenever the ball was loose in the middle, they were able to put the ball away really well. But in the end, it was Alison Waters who managed to fashion the openings a bit more, and it went onto her volley quite a few times. And every time it was on a volley, she pretty much got a winner. 5 winners on the volley, only 1 error. So that is the area where Waters is dominating. El Welily has to get the ball away from the volley of the English lady. So interesting contrast. It's an interesting tussle, and it's a real tactical affair between these two players, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, it was a slightly nervous start from both players, making a few unforced errors, but the game really kicked off from that, from the middle of the game. Both players really starting to find their angles, hit their targets, and then just a flurry of winners towards the end of the game from Alison Waters, and she just snuck it in the end.
So Raneem El Welili's got a little bit of thinking to do to get back into this match. She's getting advice from her husband, Tariq Momin, the world number 7. Alison Waters already on the court, getting ready. Both players will look to get the ball warm on the court, and there we see Tariq Momin, who is one of the top 10 players in the world. So you'll have pretty good advice to give.
Waters leads, 1 game to love. Love all. Take your seats, please. Thank you.
So it's game 2 here of the final between Alison Waters and Raneem El Welily.
Hand out, 1 love.
Well, it would have been interesting to hear what Tariq Momin had to say there to his wife. You feel like she does need to be a little bit more patient, just wait for those opportunities a little bit longer, but that's not particularly something that Tariq Momin does himself on court. He really likes to attack the front of the court, doesn't he?
Certainly does, almost plays a brand of upside down squash.
2 love.
Been a positive restart from El Welily, 2-love up. Shy Tariq Momin in the crowd trying to avoid the camera.
Stroke to Waters. Hand out.
Well, El Welily trying to decide whether she's going to review or not.
7-2.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
No, definitely some space there, wasn't there?
I'd have reviewed. Maybe slightly hot-headed, but I'd have reviewed.
Yeah, it's early in the game, isn't it? But she's decided to keep the momentum of the game going.
And out, 3-1.
It's a good response, though, from Raneem El Welily. She was obviously disappointed. Alison Waters just asking if the crowd could sit down. It's just a bit off-putting for the players, isn't it? Because down that side wall, as the ball's travelling, if there's movement to the side, it can catch the player's eyes.
Yeah, it can be really distracting if people are moving across your eye line.
Slightly fortuitous bounce in the back.
Down.
Alison just needs to stop
5-1.
the quick flow of points here. Just try and get a couple of slightly longer rallies in.
Decision Waters. Yes, let. 5-1.
There we see the crowd gathering outside the front of the court. Been packed with people watching and enthused by the game all week.
That's a beautiful shot there from Alison Waters. The perfect line, perfect weight of shot, took her space.
It's
a good attacking angle from El Welily.
6-2.
Actually was going for the outright winner on that shot.
Yeah, she went for the three-wall boast, which you don't see very often. But again, Alison Waters needs to be a bit careful with that serve. She just left it a bit short. And Raneem El Welily going straight for the attack.
Whoa. Well, luck favours the brave sometimes, and
3-6.
Waters was very lucky on that shot. So 3-6. Well, that's very clever play from Alison Waters. She was under pressure, used the lift really well, neutralised the attack, reversed the pressure, and then she was in position to kill the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, that attack really stemmed from that beautiful lob she played, and I'd love to see her do that more often and just break the rhythm, break the movement of her opponents, and more than capable of doing it as well, as you could see there.
Well, a bit of joy for El Welily that time. She re-establishes a 3-point lead. Well, we've seen it a few times in the last few matches. Alison Waters so effective when she's got the middle on that backhand side. She's using the trickle boast really well, and she's using the volley boast really well.
Yeah, really good variation on that backhand side. On the forehand, she's very clinical, but she does tend to hit the same shot. She hits it nice and hard and straight, but using really good variation on the backhand side.
Decision El Welily. Yes, let. 5-7.
So referees deciding that El Welily could potentially have hit that ball. Probably the correct decision. Waters had cleared quite a way, and El Welily couldn't see where Waters was. That is a ridiculous shot from El Welily. That's why she reminds me of Shabana.
And she just goes for it so early in the rallies. If the opportunity's there, she's going to take it every single time. And that's what gives you so little room to settle into any rallies. There's not many players that can punish you so quickly with just a slightly weaker shot.
Down. And out. 6-8.
She hasn't let Raneem El Welily run away with this game. She's just about managing to stay in touch here.
Down.
Well, an error from El Welily means that Alison Waters really is in touch.
7-8.
Only 1 point adrift after what looked like such a good clinical start from El Welily. Good battling spirit from Waters. Well, it's a nice attack from Waters, and just looking at the play, Vanessa, I feel that Raneem El Welily is missing her back corners. She's not hitting very clean lines. She's hitting it very well into the front, but when she's hitting long, the ball is staying short or around that service box area.
Yeah, she's almost been a little bit complacent towards the end of this game. She had a big lead there. Everything was working for her, shots were going in well. And Alison has just really grafted away here, played some really sensible squash, and suddenly we're at 8-all.
Well, it's going to be a stroke for El Welily, but what a rally between these two.
Stroke El Welily. And out. 9-8.
That's what El Welily is capable of.
Decision El Welily. No left. And out. 9-all.
Well, there you hear the yell of Yalla from El Welily.
And out. 10-9. Game ball.
Gives the Egyptian player a game ball. Maybe slightly too worked up. Had a golden opportunity.
10-all. Player must win by 2 points. Each player has one video review available.
Well, we're going into a tie-break situation, which means the player has to win by 2 clear points, and both players get their video review. Oh, and this time Waters finds it in. Edgy stuff here, Vanessa.
Absolutely, it's been a really high-quality game, but both of them just getting a little bit nervous at the end of this game, and a couple of unforced errors.
Decision Waters. Yes left. 11-10.
Well, we're going to have a review. I think this is going to remain as a yes-let, though.
On the yes-let decision.
What's your opinion?
No, I think it will, but I don't blame her for giving it a try. She's got that review, she may as well use it. It wasn't a clear-cut let. It's a pretty decent weight of shot she's got there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a line behind El Welily to go and get the ball.
Just maybe not quite tight enough to warrant a no-let.
Yeah, I think, well, there you go, the video review confirming that it is a yes let.
Has no reviews remaining. 11-10, game ball.
El Welily still has a game ball. Well, and the error from Waters on her trusty backhand volley gifts the second game to El Welily.
Games are 1-all.
So 12-minute second game. El Welily winning it 12-10, and we're level, 1 game all. So 12-minute second game, 12-10. Really tough encounter between these two, and such a reaction and response from El Welily at the second game, at the start of the second game. Took the game to Alison Waters, was attacking relentlessly. Just felt through the middle of that game that she started to miss her length a bit. She wasn't quite hitting the lines that she was at the beginning, that was setting up her middle of the court to really attack the ball in. And as soon as she did that, Alison Waters came back brilliantly. But towards the end, the pressure was telling on both players, and a large amount of those errors actually came right at the death of the second game. And unfortunately for Waters, she made more errors than El Welily.
Yeah, it was a good, close game. Raneem El Welily getting off to a great start, attacking from all over the court, as we know she can do. A few errors and some great squash from Alison Waters. Got her right back into the game, and she almost managed to turn it around. But as you said, just a few errors right at the end allowed Raneem to take the game. But we have a match on here.
$15 seconds.
Well, there we see Alison Waters making her way back on the court. El Welily already on there. Ball definitely does get slower, especially the white ball on the glass court. So it's really important that the players hit the ball hard, get some energy into the ball again before the start of the game.
Miss El Welily. Miss El Welily. I want to see you make more effort to let your opponent direct access to the ball. Okay? You need to give your opponent direct access to the ball. Thank you. 1 game all. El Welily to serve. Level.
Well, I'm Lee Drew, and joining me in the commentary position is former world #1 Vanessa Atkinson. And it's 1 game all here. El Welily serving.
Decision El Welily. Stroke to El Welily. 1 left. And out. 1 all. Decision Waters. Stroke to Waters. 2-1. Down. 3-1.
Well, it's been a good response again, but this time from Waters. bit weird, Alison. Alison Waters obviously losing that second game, but the referee feeling that Raneem El Welily was getting in the way a bit or wasn't clearing quite right. I couldn't quite see that, Vanessa, could you?
No, I absolutely agree. I was a bit astounded that he did that. Actually, it seemed to come from nowhere. It's been a really uncontentious match so far, and almost a winner from between her legs there in the middle of that rally. Raneem showing the full force of her racket skills. But yeah, I thought that was a bit unnecessary and certainly premature.
Decision El Welily. Yes, left, 2-3.
But she hasn't let it break her concentration.
Well, Alison Waters giving herself too much to do. You cannot leave the ball on the racket of El Welily across the middle of the court, because you're just going to have to work so hard to stay in the rally.
Exactly, and you feel that that's something that Alison Waters can't afford to do. She's spent a long time on court already, as we've mentioned. And it's important that she doesn't get on the end of too many rallies where she's covering the full court. And she's going to have to be very sensible.
Sorry? Is she giving me direct access? Yeah, she did there. And out, 4-3.
Raneem El Welily just having a little clever word with the referee.
And Alison just laughing as well. Because I think Alison felt maybe that comment at the start of the game wasn't very fair either.
Well, you saw both players having a little word with each other straight after it, so. Well, there we see the volley stopping Alison Waters in her tracks, and once you've stopped dead on your heels, you can't go back and get the ball. There is our central referee, Graham Waters. And then just below, Jenny Duncalf, who will be talking to Alison Waters in between games.
Yeah, they're good friends. Played on the England national team together for years.
Well, the ball squeezing out from Waters.
6-4.
Only 2 points between them, but this is the stage where Alison Waters spending a lot more time on court can start to take effect.
Absolutely, and the question is whether Raneem is aware of that, thinking about that, and really trying to extend the rallies and move Alison around the court rather than going for outright winners. So still attacking the front, but trying to hit working shots rather than going for the winner.
Well, the ball finding the nick from El Welily.
8-4.
Means that the Egyptian player has an 8-4 lead. Ah, wonderful shot from El Welily. Made it look so simple.
9-4.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call that a working shot. She's obviously not listening to me and just going for outright winners anyway.
Well, she's on fire here, El Welily. Tail is up. Ready to go with the serve already. Game balls, El Welily.
Decision El Welily. Stroke to El Welily.
Well, it closes out the game for El Welily.
He leads 2 games to 1.
So, quick fire, 6-minute third game. El Welily taking 11-4, and she leads 2 games to 1. That 6-minute game was all about El Welily. No winners from the racket of Alison Waters, not what we've seen in the previous games. But El Welily, every time there's an opportunity, she slotted it. And the problem is that volley for El Welily. We saw a few times Waters hitting the ball across, not finding the width, and it went straight onto the forehand volley of El Welily. So if Waters is going to get back into this match, she's got to keep the ball off the volley from the Egyptian player. So El Welily, she'll keep going for it. If that ball is loose, if it's anywhere near the middle, she will attack, and she will attack ruthlessly.
Yeah, great response there from Raneem El Welily. And you do feel that Alison Waters possibly starting to tire somewhat after that tough quarter-final and semi-final. She's going to have to really dig in here and try somehow to get in front of her opponent and get back on that tee and try and start to, first of all, attack the back corners and then look to take the ball in short on the volley.
Well, there we see famous poker player next to Amanda Sobey, who is the darling of America, and there we see the darling of Malaysia, Nicole David. She would have, of course, been desperate to be in this final to defend her title, but Alison Waters played so well to knock her out. And there we see the Viper that is Tariq Momin, looking extremely nervous in the crowd, it has to be said. Probably doesn't get anywhere near as nervous when he's playing himself.
Well, he should be feeling quite good here, because I have to say, Raneem looking very impressive so far in this match.
El Welily leads 2-1. El Welily to serve. Love all.
El Welily leading 2-1, starts off game 4. Well, that was a tricky shot, even for the wonderful skills of El Welily. Ball dipping so low down, and to be able to then work a boast up from there, it's virtually impossible.
Yeah, and I think Alison Waters will have been delighted to see that one go in the tin. She was absolutely flat on her heels there.
Well, trying to adapt, but the problem was Alison Waters' position. It was all relying on the hands because the body was in the wrong position with regards to the ball.
And it's interesting, you start to see Alison Waters starting to use more lift now.
Decision El Welily. Yes, lad, 1-1.
And you feel like if she could do that earlier in the match and just bring in those pauses in the rallies and allow herself a bit of time.
Well, Alison Waters just panicking because she heard the video review music coming on. She's starting to question whether she should have done, because maybe someone knew something she didn't. Wise choice, though. She didn't want to use her review this early in such a crucial game.
No, absolutely.
Well, it's one of those annoying boasts, isn't it, where it comes round and you don't know whether you're going to take it before the sideball or after, and then by the time you decide after, it's in the nick and gone. Wow, incredibly tight from El Welily. Absolutely glued to the glass. Well, slightly tired movement from Waters. She wasn't pushing far enough the court to be able to cover the angle, and that was the problem.
Yeah, and again, trying to use height just to give herself a bit of a breather, which is a clever tactic, but possibly a little bit late.
Well, again, every time El Welily needs the ball glued to the wall, it's happening. Tell you what, we are absolutely rattling through these points. Well, can't describe how difficult that shot was that El Welily just played. Full stretch, ball so low, yet able to control it.
Yeah, and again, a slightly tired movement from Alison Waters. She tried to hit her way out of the corner there, and Raneem El Welily taking that ball so early.
Well, she's on fire. El Welily's on fire. Nothing Alison Waters can do.
That ball.
So 6-3 for El Welily.
Decision Waters. Yes, left. 6-3.
I wouldn't review this.
No.
We saw yesterday Alison Waters became a bit trigger happy with her hand asking for the review, even when she didn't have one.
Exactly. And a hint of desperation, I feel, here. Maybe looking for a break, a little breather. Legs are getting heavy, I think.
Well, I'm not even sure Waters' racket is really that ready to hit the ball.
Yes, flat. Decision upheld. Waters
Did
has
wonder.
no reviews remaining.
The longer
6-3.
a review takes, the more you start to wonder.
Decision El Welily. Yes, left. 6-3.
Well, Alison Waters not happy, but just slightly frustrated. She needs to just get on with the job at hand. Well, it's all El Welily, and at the moment, Waters is being driven off the court. Last few matches, we've associated
7-3.
strong driving into the back corners from Waters, and at the moment, she's being out-hit into that area.
Yeah, and you do feel that Raneem El Welily has sensed that Alison Waters is starting to get very tired, and she's playing some very clever squash here,
Down.
hitting good margins on her shots.
8-3.
Well, she's inching her way closer towards this championship point. Tired-looking Waters. Maybe it's all catching up for her. El Welily marching to the service box.
Down. 9-3. Down. And out. 4-9.
Well, a lot of people would have backed her to make that shot. Well, El Welily knew just how important that rally was. She made it extra hard for her to be beaten. And then when she had her chance, she put it away.
10-4. Match ball.
El Welily with championship balls. And there it is.
Match 12.
Brilliantly closed out by Raneem El Welily.
Wins 9-11, 12-10, 11-4, 11-4.
So 10 minutes, fourth game, Raneem El Welily taking it 11-4, and it's Raneem El Welily who beat Alison Waters a 3-1, 48-minute battle to become the champion of JP Morgan Tournament of Champions in 2015. And there she is with Tariq Momin. Emotion's getting a bit too much for her. She'll be so pleased to be able to close out a victory like that. It means so much to these players. She's just drained, I think. It's such a big effort, isn't it, Vanessa, to be able to do that?
Yeah, and you've got to remember this is her first tournament back since that loss at the World Championships, which must have been a very emotional time for her, having 4 match balls and then losing in front of her home crowd. So a bit teary at the minute, but she'll be absolutely delighted with that win.
Well, there we see husband and wife. Husband congratulating El Welily on her performance, and she deserves it. She's played so well all through this competition. She's been a real consistent performer. Doesn't seem to take it in her stride as much as she seems to be fatigued and mentally drained. I think we're going to see a lot more of this young lady.
Well, I certainly hope so. She's just a joy to behold when she's in full flow, as we've seen her this week. And I have to say, she's improved in the areas that she needed to improve and showed great resilience and consistency throughout this week.
Well, very entertaining match between these two players. 3-1 for El Welily, and in the end, although Alison Waters had her patches where she was firing the ball in and hitting those winners, it was all about Welily's ability to fire it and hit outright winners, and that in the end is what cost Waters what won the match for El Welily. But all of that was underpinned by the person that was hitting the best length, and I mentioned it towards the end of the match. It was very much a twist in what we've seen from the other matches that Waters has played in. All of a sudden, El Welily outgunning Waters into those deep back corners, and that provided the platform for those winners that we see there. So, worthy winner, El Welily.
Yeah, it was a superb performance from the Egyptian. She's been great all week and she saved the best for last. Really consistent throughout that match. She hit some great winners, and then towards the end she really started to turn the screw. She sensed that Alison Waters was starting to tire and she was just drawing the ball into all four corners, using the full court beautifully, and a very well-deserved win for Raneem El Welily.
There we have the updated version of the past champions, and Raneem El Welily has been instated as 2015 winner of the JP Morgan Tournament of Champions. Well, Vanessa Atkinson, you're on that list. Raneem El Welily joining you. And she's texting back home, or is she texting you to say I've joined?
Well, I feel quite honoured to be in that kind of company when I watch a match like that. She was absolutely brilliant.
Well, El Welily's phoning home, but she's going to be on court very shortly for the trophy presentation. We're going to go to Will Carlin, and he's going to introduce the players.
Welcome everybody to the trophy presentation for the women's final. I'd like to introduce the people who are on court with me. First, Ashley Bernhard, who is a board director for the Women's Squash Association. And second, John Nimick, who has been the tournament chair for forever for this tournament. Can we please give a hand for what a wonderful final that was for the two players? And I'd like to introduce the runner-up. She had an amazing tournament this week with two great upsets, and she played unbelievably well tonight. Please welcome back on court, number 5 in the world, Alison Waters. Alison, congratulations on a great tournament this week. You had really a bunch of amazing matches in a row, and you started this match off playing just as well as you had all week. Can you tell us a little bit what it's like to be a finalist at the Tournament of Champions?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing week. We're playing in one of the best settings probably that we ever play in a squash tournament. So to have got to the final and had the results that I've had, yeah, it's been a really fantastic week. Obviously disappointing to lose today, but you know, Raneem was the better player, and she made me do too much work on there, and yeah, she was the deserved winner today. But as I said, thanks to John and everyone who've organised the tournament. We all love coming here to New York, and as I said, I mean, look at it, it's amazing. So thank you so much.
You played a great week. Congratulations. Sorry it didn't go all the way, but you were a great, great player. And now I'd like to introduce the new 2015 Ladies Tournament of Champions champion, Raneem El Welily. Hold it up just so everybody can see it. Hold it up. Raneem, congratulations. You are new Tournament of Champions champion. Can you put into words a little bit what this whole week has been like for you?
Well, it's been an amazing week. Absolutely thrilled to win this tournament. Definitely a first to come back and after losing first round last year and win it is amazing.
And do you have any words about your match with Alison that you might like to say?
She played a terrific match. She was obviously a little bit tired. Defeating Nicole David in the quarters and Nour Sherbini yesterday in 5 games was a really brutal match. And I don't know who she beat the first round, but I'm sure it still counts. But yeah, you've had a great tournament. Well played, and good luck in the rest.
Raneem, congratulations. This is a big tournament for you. We're really proud to have you as our latest Tournament of Champions champion. Congratulations, and go ahead and hold that trophy above your head.